Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, let's start with the experiment 2 of the logic circuit part of electrical testing 2. The first part is about the subtractors, and for subtractors specifically we are going to study about the working principles of the half subtractor and full subtractor. As you already know that, as it's clear from the subtractor that it's basically the combination logic circuit whose job is to perform the subtraction of the binary numbers here. Okay, since we are talking about the half subtractor and full subtractor, so the number of inputs are going to change. So in case of half subtractor, the subtraction is going to be between the two bits here. Okay, and similarly for the full subtractor, we are going to perform the subtraction of 3 bits here. Similarly, for all the subtractors, we are going to get two outputs here. One is the borrow output and the second one is the difference here. Okay. So let's start with the half subtractor. As you can see and from the figure, we know that, and this figure is already provided to you in the manual. So we can see from the figure that we are going to use the module 33004 and we are going to work on the block A here. So what we have, what I'm showing you in the here in the picture is basically the module which is basically 33004, and we are working in the on the block A basically here. Okay, so from the figures you can see that we have attached two jumpers here between F0 and A1, similarly A2 and this output of U1 here. So same here, this is the jumper is applied here, the jumper is applied here. Second thing, and the most important thing, I told you that even this thing is not going to be written in the manual. You need to always connect the ground with the ground and plus 5 volt with the plus 5 volt here. Okay, now what we have after finishing the connections here or inserting the clips here, what we need to do, we need to connect the inputs A to C. It means A, B and C. Okay, so we are talking about the input A, B and C here. Okay, this is the C input here to the data switch SW0 to SW2, and F2 to logic. So F2 we are going to connect to L1, F1 to L2, F3 to L3 and F5 to L4. Okay, so this is the connection which we need to make here. Now, since we are working about the half subtractor here, so for simplicity, I have not connected all the connections here. I have only used the connections which we are going to use for the half subtractor just to simplify the things here. Okay, so we see that when the C is equal to 0, C in case if I'm connecting all three here. So I have not connected them here. So obviously I know I have only two inputs where I can only to give in where I can give only 2 bits here. Okay, so F1 is the borrow output and F2 is the difference here. So where we have connected F1, F1 is connected to L2 here. So this is your F1 which is connected to L2 here. So we know that F1 is basically your borrow here. So let me, so F1 is basically your borrow input here. So it means F1 is connected to L2. So from L2 we are going to get the borrow here. Okay. Similarly, the second thing here we have is F2 is your difference. So where we have connected F2, F2 is connected to L1. So this F2, which is the yellow line or the yellow wire, this is basically your difference here. So we need to record this first one in the difference column and the second one in the borrow column here. Okay. Again, I have only connected the thing which I needed for the half subtractor just to simplify the things. Okay. So now what we have basically, you need to provide the power supply by switching on. And what will happen? First of all, we need to basically fill this table, okay, which is provided to you in your manual here. So we know that when the input here is 0, 0 here, so this was basically your difference and this was your borrow. As I showed you previously, this is your borrow, this is your difference here. So just you need to record the borrow here, you need to record the difference here. So each time, like you can have 0, 0, then we have 1, 1 here, then 1, 0 here, and this is basically 0, 0 again here. Okay. So what I'm telling you here, I mean, just you can record the values here yourself. just to explain why we are getting 1 1 here. Okay, so I'm just basically explaining to you this thing. Okay, just I mean how we will get here, and this is basically the second one when the value of SW. So this black is here, switch one, and it means this is basically B. So when the value of B is equal to 1 and A is equal to, so basically here we will be getting 1 1 here. So how we will get 1 1 here? Simple. What we are performing here? We are performing basically A minus B here. Okay. So now if the value of A is 0 and B is 1, so you cannot subtract anything because B is greater than 1 here. B is greater than 0 here, so you cannot subtract it. What you need to do, you need to have a borrow here. So when you take a borrow here, so it will become 1 0. 1 0 means this is 2 here. So since you have already taken a borrow, so we need to put 1 here, and in binary 2 minus 1 will become 1 here. So that's why we get 1 1 here. Okay, so just to clarify your concept here, you already studied this thing in your theory course. So this is just only to show you like how the thing will be. Now let's move to the next one, which is basically about the full subtractor here. Okay, so instead of two input, now we are going to use three inputs here. So you can see here, I mean in the connection diagram, I have connected, this one is A, this is your, sorry, this is your, yeah, this is your A, this is your B, and this is your C. So this is basically A, this is B, and this is your C input. Okay, similarly, now for the full subtractor, F3 is your borrow. So we have, where we have connected F3, F3 is connected in L3. So this is basically your F3. This one is your F3, which is here. Okay, so F3 is your borrow. So basically this is the borrow input for the full subtractor here. Similarly, F5 is the difference. So this is your F5. This one is your F5. So F1, F5 is connected here, and this is your difference here. So whenever you are filling the table, kindly record this values in the borrow, this values in the difference here. Okay. So now what we have, I have provided you here. So you need to record borrow here and difference here. As I show you, the first one will be the borrow here, F3. The second one is the difference. Okay. So just record and fill the table here. Clear? So please go through it, and if you have any doubt, you can discuss these things in the lab sessions. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.